Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Live After Discussing a Murderer, episode 38. Happy to be here. It feels like it's been longer than 2 weeks. I just feel like I've done so much since then, but been working a little bit behind the scenes. Really enjoyed this episode. Glad you guys could all join us. Try to keep up with the comments today as best I can. But first, why don't we introduce the panel today? And we'll start with Kel up there on the top. So, hello, Kelly. How are you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. I've been okay. I've been a little bit sick, so I'm only kind of been catching up in the last, maybe day or two with the community and what's been happening. Yeah, I'm here and I'm happy to have a good discussion with y'all.
Well, we're happy to have you here, Kel, as usual. We're going to get to, a little bit, maybe adding some comments in from the premiere, and we'll probably maybe talk about new developments in the case, and then we'll probably move into third gear. I don't know if it's the highest gear, but third gear with some picture time with Jack. So that's kind of the plan today as you guys follow along with us. But I also want to welcome Calf. Calf, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How's everyone else going?
I'm doing just fine.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's good to have you here. Hope you're
Thank
ready
you.
for an interesting chat today.
I sure am.
So you're fired up and ready to go.
Can't wait.
All right, let's get to it. But first, we'll introduce Jack and welcome Jack back to the show. How are you doing, my friend? Good evening.
Doing good. Been busy. One thing or another. There's always something going on with this case, or just around this case. Her and Kay and Sheree have been busy with that. They were able to actually get some transcripts of the Holtzclaw case, which is new and God, terrible. Anyway, yep, just been busy, and we just to get on with kind of what's been going on, and we'll throw up a few pictures as always.
Nice. I like that. Well, I hope everybody here stateside had a nice Memorial Day weekend. I certainly did. Played some of the best golf of my life with my new clubs and feeling about 10 feet tall today. So with that said, welcome back to everybody who did have a holiday and to everyone else around the world who didn't have a holiday. I hope you're having a good week so far. So I guess we'll just open it up, or maybe we'll go around the wheel, sometimes do a little round robin about just what do we have to say to kind of about the previous episode. So I'll just give my piece a little bit, and then maybe I'll toss it over to one of you. And that's I just can't get over the blood call. That's my thing. The geocaching call, where people where the call about saw some blood, saw a picture of Teresa Halbach in the same location, on the coast, east of Two Rivers. And so I just think it's a fascinating call. I don't know how you wouldn't go and check it out when the dispatch said, go check it. We're going to go check it out. And then nothing happens. And then it's interesting to me. I know there's a lot of other points that are interesting as well, but if you're going to come up with a scenario that Teresa Halbach was murdered, I mean, even in one of the unfiled warrants, I believe it says pools of blood. So there's just this kind of idea out there that we're looking for pools of blood. We're looking for pools of blood where this woman may have been slain, and then you get a phone call about lots of blood, pools of blood, and nothing. So that's my piece. That's basically what I said in the premiere already. Jack, if you want to add on to that, I think you just opened your mic. So
how do you not go? How do you not send someone immediately? I don't care if this call came in on, I think it was the 7th. I'd have to go back and look, but wasn't it the 7th this tip came in on? Didn't I tell you that? November 7th?
Yes. Are you talking about the blood?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the 7th.
So how do you not go? Here we are,
He said the weekend. So if that was the 7th, the weekend prior would be the 4th and the 5th. Is that correct? Or the 5th and the 6th?
Well, the 5th and the 6th. The 5th and the 6th, yeah. So
is the weekend. Yep. So we're looking at right the time that the RAV was found. So like less than a week. I mean, we're talking about less than a week from when she disappeared. And again, we don't know when she was slain, and so, or to what manner actually. But like I said earlier, the warrant, the unfiled warrant mentioned pools of blood. It's something that they're on the lookout for. You get a call, it says pools of blood, and you brush it off.
Well, again, I know that they were stretched pretty far to the limits of going here and there, checking tips out, and other various things that they had to take care of. But still, even if it was midnight and guys went up there with flashlights and or floods or whatever, and took some samples to see if it was first, number one, human or animal blood. If it was animal blood, you're done. If it's human blood, you got a problem, right?
You got a big problem. But
You got to.
why wouldn't you want, like, okay, let's say it's someone else. What if it's not Teresa Holrock, but it's
That's right.
someone else's blood?
That's
And you
right.
go,
That's what I'm
there's
saying.
another murder in our jurisdiction that we're not interested in. Come on, guys. Let's. That scoff. I just
You know
can't
the
believe
guy that called in? He is one of Teresa's good friends. Is it Christy Hazer, or I think she goes by Anderson now? It's her uncle.
Yeah, I mean everybody's kind of. It's probably
Related?
not too hard. Yeah, I mean it's probably not too hard to. I have family in that area, so I don't know if that tells you anything, but I mean
Yeah.
it's yeah. I mean, does that
Just
mean
thought I'd throw
something?
that out
The
there.
guy who's this guy that called in the Posa?
Yeah, Tom Poser. Yep.
Yeah. So, well, I mean he said in his statement his motive was he didn't even think about it at first, and then he was kind of like, going through his thoughts of the week or whatever of the day and going, oh yeah, that's right. What did we do? That's right. I saw that picture of that woman missing near that blood stain, and then called it in. And I don't know it.
I know,
And
but
then
like
he
how much
even
like
says in
blood
the call,
seeped into a tree too. Like it must have been a
yeah,
fair bit, right?
he even says in the call, at first I thought it was probably deer blood, and now I don't think it was. Like the more I think about it, the more I kind of, put it together. And I mean, he sounded really serious. At the very least, you have to check it out to cross it off your list.
Well, then he adds in, saw that poster, missing person poster of Teresa. He added that in too. Now, we're not talking about in the city. We're out a ways. So what does it mean? I don't know what it means.
I mean, still within reasonable place where a poster could be, like kind of, it's like 9 miles away, 9 miles pretty much straight east to the coast of Lake Michigan. It's right on an Ice Age trail, which is, I mean, used, but it's the beginning of November. Only the hardcore people who are runners or like bicyclists or joggers are going to be, out. It's not the middle of August, nice day, right? So
or geocachers, right?
or geocachers. Well, exactly, because they do it. They, explorers, I guess, like that. So it makes a lot of sense to me. But not being followed up, and it blows my mind.
Well, the unfortunate thing is that, and we have to consider this other part. We don't really know what all they followed up on and what they didn't because we have such scant reporting from Manitowoc. They were kind of along for a free ride. That's the way I see it because they had so much involvement. I mean, I know how much Dennis Jacobs was involved, and we don't have a single report from the guy, not one. He was heavily involved in that case.
That's wild. I mean, that's wild to know someone was there that much and not writing reports. And
wasn't it Dennis Jacobs that took the recording from Zippers?
Yep, according to Dettering.
Not even a report on it.
Nope.
It's convenient.
Very.
The guy who doesn't write reports does all the dirty work?
Yeah, it seems so. And then, he doesn't even mention how it got lost or misplaced or...
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nope.
Zero. Zilch.
Well, I mean,
weird.
it's only I guess, talking about the Zipper recording, you guys can talk here for just a second, and I'll throw something on the screen just to,
Absolutely.
Just as a reminder. The hell's it at? Come on, I had this up the other day. Damn it. Not too much
James,
shit.
While you're looking for that, I'm going to read James Crane comment. It's a pretty good one. check it out and cross it off your list. They seem to have no problem crossing off possible suspects without checking them out. It's true. It's true. But was that the right thing to do, to cross those people off the list without checking them out? No. So I guess it does follow their MO of not checking out anything that potentially could harm your predetermined outcome.
Yeah, from a lot of shows that I watch, like documentaries on cold cases and murder scenes and just murder crimes, I should say, and whatnot. But they don't always check out every tip that comes in, of course, because a lot come in.
Yeah, there you go.
That's true as well.
Yeah, and like you said, if it's not fitting into the narrative on the path that they're already on, why are they going to go all the way out there?
Just quickly, Kath, I think you might have looked into this, but I just want to establish it as well. Has it been confirmed that this track hosts like deer and wildlife that you could hunt on? Because, this guy said his initial thought was, oh, it's just a deer or something's been hunted here. And it wasn't until he went home, and I know that Jeff Jones just covered this by saying he went home and was like thinking about it, and then put two and two together. But is it a hunting zone, or not even a hunting zone? Is there animals that could have been attacked there by another animal, or in terms of a hunting expedition kind of thing?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm not sure what the dates are for hunting there, though, but you are allowed to hunt there. There are also a lot of private properties that back onto that, and you have to have their permission to be able to hunt on their land as well. But, yeah, for sure, there's definitely hunting allowed.
And I think it's a special permit zone, though. Didn't we see that it was a special permit? Like, you have to apply, and there's like a permit lottery?
Yes.
Yeah. So...
Yeah.
It would be a limited number of people that could be back there, because they only give so many permits for that zone every year, and it's done by lottery. So you have to put your name in the pool, and then only, I don't know what the number is, I forget what the number was, but like 20 people will get a permit that year, and then you're allowed to, and no one, because it's a small sliver of land. And we did find that, so that sounds legit to me. I always think, okay, if it's a special permit area and you have to get this for the lottery, only if you lived there would you really be like wanting. Otherwise, why would you want to pick this specific area when there's a lot of areas that you don't need a special permit for? You could just go hunting, right? You don't need to go and through this lottery. Is there some special deer in this area? Right next to an Ice Age trail, next to the Manitowoc School Forest? I mean, it's possible. Anything is possible, and I would like to add that one part in there. A deer could have been shot in another zone and tracked all the way here. So that's the other alternative, that you don't know where
and
the
predator and a predator could have attacked it and killed it there,
and drug it there. Absolutely,
it happens, But it still should have been checked out, I think, and a report written, because that's pretty significant. We're talking about this is a large bloody area. I don't know. Anyway,
with a picture of her, with a picture.
Yeah, that too, But to add on to what we're talking about I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cal.
No, sorry, no, you go. You were going. You go.
Well, I was just going to finish up with this, because I can take this down here in a second, but to talk about the zipper of voicemail. So this is 1 month. This is a Kratz exhibit list 1 month before trial. And you can see right there it is. Voicemail barbs, voicemail zippers, item seized. So,
well, there you go.
Where the hell is that?
Where is it at? Where is it at is the question. Another thing, just to follow up on the previous premiere and the questions that were coming in, the location. We've done a little bit of, back, like we took the location, we put it into maps, and a few of us have deep dived a little bit into that. The location appears that it's very close to Ireland Avery. Is that correct? You all agree with that one, that the location mapped out is kind of like almost across the road adjacent?
Yeah, it is. It's Lakeshore Road runs right past where he would have come out. Like, it's so close, it's not funny.
Really?
Arlen Avery lives along that road right near there. Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, there's
it's,
another
it's almost
coincidence.
across the road. I'll send you a picture, Jack. It's really close.
Yeah, whatever happened to that call? I don't know, Jack. I love that. Where's this call? It was seized. It was put into an exhibit list, so it's missing out of the exhibit. You know what I mean? It's already been transferred over to the courthouse. Like, it doesn't stay in the normal lockup. It would go to the courthouse lockup. Is that right?
Well, eventually, yeah, but at this point in time, during when this was written, Kratz would have had it. It probably would have been in his, because I know prosecutors have their own, secure storage, for
Right.
trial, yada yada yada. So as he would either had this or a copy of it, if he was intending on using it as an exhibit at trial. But regardless, yeah, eventually, what happens is that trial exhibits get stored. They would have been stored in whatever, but these would have went to Manitowoc because I'm sure Calumet doesn't have the room. But as in with most of these exhibits for Avery's trial, they ended up back in Manitowoc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian's got a question about geocaching. I did it briefly. Like, I was kind of interested in it because it seemed really kind of forward thinking at the time. So you use your GPS device, whether it's a phone. You can just use your phone. Some people have more like they have like a GPS handheld. They're more accurate, but basically you use any GPS. You find the coordinates and then you hide something there, like under a rock or behind a sign or under a brick or somewhere that it's gonna stay. And then what do you hide? Like, you hide like a little note or a log book that says who found it, when they found it, maybe an item with it, maybe like a little keychain or something, just to prove that you did find it. And then you log and you go on the website and say, oh, I found this one. It's like a treasure hunt. It's this worldwide treasure hunt for these little geocache. And so that's what geocaching is. It's kind of an interesting little niche. It's kind of like mixes in hiking and exploring, and kind of like, they're not easy to find. That's the one thing. You'd think it would be easy. It's not easy.
Like a little treasure hunt without the treasure.
Yeah, I mean, you can take the keychain or whatever's there. Like, I did one and I left like some soap because I knew it would last the elements. Like, hey, here's a bar of soap in case you need it, or whatever. It's just kind of, it's really not about the item. It's about, can you find it? Because they're really hard. Like, some of them are just like, you wouldn't think of it, like behind a stop sign, and you have to, like look inside the thing. It's just ridiculous. Go and check it out online. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of fun. So that's what I know about geocaching.
So basically, where the coordinates are and to where Arlen lives, it's about 200 meters, 250 meters.
Yeah, it's really close.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's like really close.
Yeah,
really coincidental. And I really don't like coincidences, especially when it involves this case. I don't like it at all.
Yeah,
it's really weird, isn't it, that it happens to be across the road?
Yes.
Do we want to maybe just, I'm not going to do it because I'm not confident in explaining it, but explaining who he is for the, just to even refresh me, because I know he's related to Stephen and he was an officer, and I believe he was actually in Making a Murderer. So if we just want to maybe do a background on that.
Oh, on Arlen?
Yeah.
Stephen's uncle. That's
yes,
that is
Alan's
brother. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he was a Manitowoc County Sheriff's deputy for I don't know how many years, a long time. So yeah, he was definitely in Making a Murderer Part 1. I'm not sure when he retired, but yeah, it's definitely Alan's brother. So
his statement about seeing Stephen that day included a phrase about, "Oh, I know that Stephen was at the salvage yard that day because I specifically remember seeing a bunch of concrete dust on his back."
Yeah,
And
on
that
his
was his
jacket.
statement. Yeah, on his jacket. It said a bunch of.
Yep.
I remember it because I saw concrete dust on his back, and something in my head triggered, and I remembered that. And I believe it was Vogel told him, "If you don't change your story, you're going to change jobs."
It was
Basically,
Kasoric.
Kasoric said that. If you don't change your story, you're going to be changing jobs, or something to that effect, right?
He basically threatened him, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah. So then that story of him, because he's law enforcement, right? He's you have all these 17 witnesses, but if you have him, that might be enough to tip the jury, right? So they knew that, and they pressured him, and so Arland, I believe that's what happened. I'm not sure, but that's who Arland Avery is.
Awesome.
And then the other one that we found that it's fair game to talk about is that near this bloodstain is I believe a sportsman's club, like about a mile down the road from there, and it is affiliated with Maiko's dad. And so that is also an interesting point that we found that's fair enough to uncover. It's been a member there for many years, so that's another aspect that I think is fair to bring out that we found. It doesn't mean anything, but we found it.
Yeah, it's circumstantial, but yeah, definitely fair game. Don't really know
Yeah.
a lot about. Don't really know a lot about that side and that end, as much as Michael is really mentioned in the 2007 trial and the circumstances around that.
Overall, so I just want to say that because I missed that episode because I explained that I have had my roster changed, so I have to skip a few now. So while you guys were while I was listening to the episode, I was just making some points of like every part you guys got to cover, and I kind of thought what I would have like inputted in terms of my thoughts and stuff. And I agree with the whole we're discussing that call that's come in now. I wrote some notes with that, but overall, I just think to myself, it should have been investigated one way or the other, whether they wanted to tie it to the case with Stephen or whether it's just doing it because, like you guys stated, this could have been someone else out there that was injured and needed help in a totally different circumstance, but enough for them to should have, duty of care kind of follow that up. The other points that you guys hit was at the beginning of the episode was I've got a note here just saying the lights, the lights come into the episode almost immediately. And I'm not going to go into all my notes because that's just silly, but just a few things that I want to ask the chat and the panel. The question I wrote to myself in my notes was the foundation of it in backing that up is the lights, whether you think it's relevant. If the lights are relevant, do we think that they're relevant from the same people that attended the property on the 3rd and the 4th? Because then I wrote here, because if you consider that they're the same people and it is a part of the crime, I wrote, well, who is accounted for? Who is not behind the wheel and it's like in the car? And I wrote, Chuck, Bobby, Stephen, Brendan, they're kind of the ones that are amongst the witnessing of, being a part of checking out lights. But the biggest question I have for everyone is the RAV allegedly gets seen on the property on the morning of the 5th. So my question is, and it's the only reason I'm bringing this up again, sorry, but you and Jay Jackson Silkman really do cover this quite efficiently, and that's the whole, the timing of it, like, how it matches up with Tom Skowinski now and such. But my question is, why the urgency? Why do you want it? Why would have the alleged person that Kathleen has put forward as, you know, and the witness that have put forward, why is he wanting to put it on the property that morning? And the reason why I ask that is because when you think about it, he only had to wait a few more hours before the whole property was empty. If he would have waited an extra hour or two, going on the time that the witnesses are now saying that they saw this, him around this RAV, by 6:30 everyone's gone. They've gone to Crivets. So why the morning of the 5th? That's the one thing that always stands out to me about this RAV being planted. Why would he have to do it that morning? Because if he didn't do it that morning, he had the opportunity to do it that night, even the night of the 5th, when again no one's around. Earl has packed up for the day because I think he only does half days or such on the weekends and doesn't get there till like 8:39. So he has this duration of dead time where he has the whole property to himself. He doesn't have to worry about pushing it so no one hears it. He could literally just drive it all the night of the 5th, or the early mornings of the 6th. Again, no one's coming home from Crivets. Earl's not on the property. And the reason why I'm tying that in is because of the flyover, because is that the reason why a flyover is so important to this narrative?
Damn, you took the words out of my mouth, Cal. I was going to say.
Same. I was about to say the same thing. It was obviously parked somewhere else, I think, and then the flyover happened and they've panicked and gone, what if they've seen it there, or, and we've now got to get it away from that spot.
Or they've already checked the salvage yard and it wasn't there, so they're going to bugger off and go search somewhere else. So you think it's fair to put it, I don't know. It's a strange one to me, indeed.
Yeah, so that was just basically where I kind of went with that one. And then the next part of the episode kind of went into Ramlo. I kind of addressed it in the premiere while I was in the chat, but the only issue I have with Ramlo now, because this whole discussing a murder is about reviewing the case then and what we know now and what they didn't kind of know and kind of filling in those gaps, is when Kathleen obviously put forward Kevin Ramlo, and she attached that he did reach out to Scott Tadich, and there's obviously proof of that, which is quite significant because it's backing up, your claims. The only thing that doesn't get addressed in Making a Murder, and it kind of didn't get addressed in the discussion, is that Ramlo was actually arrested by Andy Colburn in 2006 after the fact. So he has been exposed to Andy's face, identity as well in a prior or in a further situation. And the other thing that I wrote here is, I don't think the courts will take Ramlo as serious when you've got his word that this is who he saw, and he doesn't disclose that Andy has arrested him before. And you have Andy who's claiming that he wasn't there because it was his day off, and he can produce a work record that shows he actually wasn't working that day. And Susan in the chat made a really good point. Maybe that's why we don't have the calls for the 4th, because there might be audio of Andy working, and he's not meant to be. But overall, the courts aren't going to want to hear what could have, should have been. They want to see proof. And if Andy can provide documents, or the state provides documents that Andy was not only an arresting officer, but he wasn't working, I think in a cluster of it, Ramlo's, not his credibility, but the circumstances isn't as strong, because he's just an eyewitness who's recanting an event, but the details isn't supported by it versus his words. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I got you. It's all good.
Yeah, could have been that
ahead.
other guy. I can't think of his name. That other officer that it could have been. Come on, help me out, guys. Kind of looks like Andy.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
I mean, it's possible it could have been that guy because I've seen a photo of him, and for Ramlo, he doesn't. I mean, I don't know the guy, but he could have mistaken. He just could be misidentifying Andy for this guy, and he talked to him, and I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there because obviously the Manitowoc had quite a few officers, and if that guy was in that Senex station, I guess it's possible. I don't know though. I need more. I'm like everybody else. I need something to back it up. I need something more. You know, it's kind of like we were just talking about. We don't have well. We've got a few calls now on the fourth. They're not radio transmissions, and we have a couple of dispatch calls where Uyghur wants the link to get the GPS coordinates for the zippers, the Avery salvage yard, and so he does that, and then he calls him back. But that's really about all we've got, and we didn't have those until last year. So um, no dispatch or no radio transmissions at all, and I think that's to me that's a big red flag. How can you skip an entire day and it's just gone? I think it's a big red flag. It is for me. It's always going to bother me until they produce them. Yeah,
I agree.
I feel certain they have them, and they've
If you
just not
got
been
nothing to
released.
hide, if you got nothing to hide, put it out there, right?
That's right. That's right. I agree. So anyway,
Well, yeah. So I thought the episode was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed listening to it. So I don't know if anybody has anything that they want to add just about that. Um, go ahead and add it in, Kel.
Oh no, I was gonna say it was a great episode. I think you guys did really well. The only last thing which I can think I was gonna lead off with this one was because we're leading into the next discussion that I think we're about to address. But I'm not going to touch base on the whole Scott Tadich and Bobby's alibying each other because I think we're all on the same agreement that there is, in terms of it was weird. You watch Making a Murderer, it does come off a bit like what. My where I wanted to go with it was you have when it gets introduced, you have Scott on the stand and my apologies, Strang is questioning him, and he kind of walks him through and says he's setting the foundation, like the narrative. So he goes, so you're driving down the road, you see Bobby, and then he goes, and can you tell me what's the speed limit there? And he's like 55 miles per hour, and he's like, and you saw him and you knew exact at the same time. It sounded like Strang was trying to lead into the whole, implying that this split second moment you were able to capture detail, like you were able to see Bobby, you were able to know the time, you've now alibied each other. So he kind of set that ground that it's not impossible, but I think he wanted the courts to hear that, this probability that doing 55 and coming at each other and passing so quickly and to be able to capture all that detail is just a little bit, iffy. But here's the problem. It is, but here's the problem, J-Jax. We now have a new witness that's coming forward who's traveling the same kind of roads that are 55 miles per hour, who doesn't know the other person, who's claiming to have seen more detail than two people that do identify each other, that know each other. So if it's good enough for if it's good enough for Scott and Bobby to kind of imply it, and it kind of is a bit iffy, then how is it going to work for this new gentleman? And I'm going to refer to him as TB. So do you see what I'm saying there in terms of the whole?
I personally think that there needs to be more for this new affidavit. I mean, me personally, it's not that I don't necessarily believe him. I just need more to back it up. There needs to be, with the Sawinski call, we can say whatever we want about the guy, but he did call. So, you know, there's at least that. But with this new one, I personally need more than just him saying that it happened, especially with his involvement. We can get more into that here in a bit if you guys want, but I'm just a regular person that needs more information before I'll completely bite on that hook. I'm sorry, I just do. And
He,
I don't care who he says was in this other alleged RAV. It doesn't matter to me. I need something more than him just saying the words, because he's clearly been involved in and out in the social media aspect, and sounds like he's kind of kept his ear to the ground in the case. And again, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying that for me personally, I need more information. I got to have something else to
I'm with
give
you
it
there.
credibility. Give it
I'm with you there. Like
credibility.
you need some like proof that you were there that day, like the tow receipt or something. Something that gives us an indication that it wasn't a week before or a week after. It wasn't a mistake on your part because
A
you were
different.
there that day because you have the
Yeah,
receipt in your hand. That's
yeah.
different for me.
That is different. That would lend credibility that he was there. It's kind of like Cal was saying. We have to call apples and oranges oranges. So if we say, I can see the two people that know each other would know each other's vehicles, and they would see, hey, there's such and such, come down the road. You might not necessarily know what freaking time it is, but you probably would certainly know that vehicle, and they're driving it, right? But here we are at night. It's dark, and I do understand. He had kind of explained it was kind of strange to see people out on the road. I remember way back, years ago, I'd be out late at night, visiting. I'm talking about many years ago, not because in 2005 I was married, so that's a different story. I'm just talking about being out in the county late at night and there really not being anyone on the road. I remember driving hell across town and only seeing sometimes one or two cars, and that's all. Driving 8 or 10 miles across town and not really seeing anyone out wasn't unusual. And when you did see somebody, like, oh shit, is that a cop? So I do understand that end of it. At the same time, him being in this tow truck, not knowing what it was, how high it was off the ground, his lights are up higher. He sees inside this oncoming, uh, alleged RAV, and specifically Bobby driving it, and some unidentified person. You gotta take it all in. And again, I'm just gonna say I just need more. I'm not saying the guy is a liar because I wasn't there. I didn't sign my name to no affidavit. He has. So I need more. I'm sorry, I just do.
I think it's fair. I think it's a fair point to. I mean, and that's kind of what makes a characteristic of a good researcher is requiring the fact, the receipts, as they say. What did the kids say today? We need the receipts. We need the receipts. You got to prove it, man. You got to back up these claims. You got to prove it with documentation. You got to prove it somehow. And again, I'm not saying the guy is wrong, not at all. But the witness that he had with him died a year ago or so, like a few years back.
Yeah.
So why didn't this come forward when there was a witness that could corroborate your statement? And I'm not saying he's a liar again, but this is the kind of stuff they will eat you up in court over.
Yeah, I mean, the only end of it that I could even potentially make a connection that he didn't and no one else has, I mean, talking about from, Zelen or anyone, is there could have been a fear factor. He clearly has had some domestic problems with his, I guess, prior marriage or whatever. I don't really know. I didn't dig into it too much, but I know he has some domestic issues that he had to deal with. Don't know if there was a issue with him and law enforcement. That's my only guesstimate. And now that time has passed, he felt comfortable enough to come forward and say, "Look, I saw something back then, and I want to get it off my chest." I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there as speculation, and it's some pretty thin speculation at that because I don't know.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
That's fair. The issue I have is, and I'm gonna quote something that this isn't actually. I someone said it to me, and I think it's such a great point. And they're in the community, And they said to me they said to a few of us the other day, because we've all, I think by this stage we've all now seen the screenshots, or in the live time when he still had his Twitter activated. A lot of us went in there and saw it for ourselves. There was people that have the reports that, you know, his accounts was linked to his being verified. So, and it all matches. He has a selfie of himself, so you can't really deny that. He can't really deny it. And now we have, you know, the YouTube video of him at the rally, and it appears that he is on the phone to Stephen, because it was being passed around. All these little things that are, you know, starting to not hurt him, but it's bringing questions, which I think we're all, fair to say that we've all got a few more questions. And, you know, like you said, J-Jax, we want to see a little bit more. We want to know how it kind of come about. The thing that I was told, which I kind of want to link that into me, is let's flip it for a minute. If this witness had come from the state and we had done the same background check and digging into him, and we found the same inconsistencies and the same issues that, you know, that we're finding now in terms of his social media comments and his presence all the way back from 2019 to what he put in his affidavit, which there is a little bit of a big inconsistency that I think he's got a bit of a hurdle to kind of maybe jump over now. We would all be like, what the WTF? This guy is like fluff. We would probably be more referring him as the Evans dude, because it's just coming out more and more, and it's just becoming a little bit more stretchy. The fairness of it is, if this was the other way around, and this was coming from the state, and we saw the same problems that we're seeing now, we would call him out regardless. That is what we do. This is why we're a community. We research. And I get it, J-Jax, you hit the nail on the head. The fear of it could have been why he kept silent, because he's under scrutiny. He's got a community full of people that will deep dive into your background and pull up everything about you and expose it. And people have. So I totally get that. I really do. But when you put in the affidavit, and I think it was point 15, that I've only ever seen Stephen at McDonald's, and I didn't even converse with him. We didn't even talk. And now you have him at a rally, on a phone to him, whether it was a hi, I will support you, and it was a passing. We now have Reddit posts from his account that's been verified that he has made statements like, we will go fishing again, whether that's the implication that they already knew each other. And then another comment that we now see where he wrote in 2020 to one of our own community members, I follow you because I am Stephen's friend and I think you're awesome. That kind of contradicts, in a sense, paragraph 15, that I think the state, if they were able to bring any of that in, theoretically, would have a field day with him.
Well, at minimum, he needs to explain it, whether he was, you know, playing fluff or, you know, trying to pump himself up. I don't really know, but it would have to be explained specifically. Hold on, I'll be right back. You guys talk.
Yeah, I wanted to pull that affidavit up. I'm going to search for it in the background, unless one of you guys might have it handy. It would do me a favor. Otherwise, I can search. But
I've got it.
Okay. I thought that we could throw that up while we're talking about it. It's not that long. There's only 10 or 12 points to the main section of it. So
Galataki just walked in, but I'll mute and I'll throw it up and you guys can talk.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. So it is dicey. You know, it's hard to say for sure that I believe him 100%. And you know, and you hate to bring up the Eyewitness account. I don't know, what is it? Their batting average, but the Eyewitness account batting average is not so great. People who have convinced themselves, I saw this person do this thing. Turns out they weren't there. That wasn't them. You were wrong. And eyewitnesses are not cameras. If there was a dashboard camera, we could clear this all up. And there's one point that I wanted to make about modern day crime, and that is, I think about if this had happened today, if this crime had happened today, there would be more cameras around. There'd be cameras at the Avery salvage yard. There'd be cameras. The tow truck driver probably has one streaming. He's streaming on TikTok or something. The passerbys, people have Ring doorbell cameras and can see cars driving by. They've used that method time and time again to track people's movements. And I just wanted to make that point that I feel it's a different era and it makes it a lot harder. And I just think about things have progressed a little bit, because I know we're all about, it seems gloom and doom all the time because crimes are so negative and it's a hard topics to continually talk about. But I just wanted to bring that up, that I think today it'd be a lot harder for this to get pulled off, and it would be a lot easier to verify people's statements because they would have had a camera running, or they would have took a picture, or we have more accurate data going into these cell phones these days, right? It's not even just pings, it's GPS coordinates that are constantly being updated through all of these apps. So that's just the point that I wanted to make, because I feel like sometimes we get stuck in 2005, but it's not 2005 anymore, right? It's 2023 and things have changed. So that's about all I was looking to go with that. I don't know if Jack if you can scroll down to the bullet points on that.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, just a second.
Okay, cool.
I will scroll her down.
Number 1, I guess we got, huh? Oh, this is Zellner saying current council became aware of this in May. Yep. Okay, that's Kathleen's part. Yeah, this is the section of it. First one is just, I'm in legal sound in mind and I'm not drunk and knowing these facts as I know them are true.
Hey, you tell me where you want me to go.
Okay.
I do want to point out one more thing, and we can
Absolutely
talk about it here. Number 16. I do not know Mike Osmondson.
It is a weird point of reference to say.
The
way I can only interpret that one way. I can only and that is, he's saying that someone was with Bobby in the RAV. It could be Mike, because I don't know who Mike is, right?
Maybe. Yeah, I thought of that. Absolutely. And, they know that Bobby and Mike are friends, or were friends back in the day. So it's possible.
It's a very peculiar, in what a scope and sequence, let's say that. It's a very peculiar affidavit in that I think I might have saw him at a McDonald's, but I'm not sure. I mean, why even include that? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to criticize here. I'm just, if we're gonna look at stuff over and we're gonna be logical thinkers on this, these are the questions I'm gonna ask. So I don't have to apologize for that.
Yeah, I just think we need to understand better, more. It just comes back down to more. I get what he's saying here. I do. But here we are, 2023. We're, basically, 17 plus years, not quite 18 yet, from back in the day in real time. And here we are. Why not? I mean, did he make a call or some kind of contact that we're unaware of so far? Maybe there's more than that she just hasn't submitted. She's stepping back like she has to. I'm pretty sure Travis said this, and I think he's in the chat, or he was. She's legally required to file this, or to ask permission to, step back. I got this. This person's come forward, said they want to swear an affidavit. I'm giving it to you to add to the record.
Well, I think Travis's comments are really interesting. I just want to read this one. Oh, so he isn't going to be called by KZ unless there's some real explanation for all of this. This is only to get an evidentiary hearing on the other guy, and I think the other guy is Tom Zawinski.
Sawinski.
And then he goes on and says the hearing would be on the issue of Brady not turning over the Zawinski call and the new evidence of innocence. So it would have to allow Zawinski and anything related to that, like the phone call to the jail. So that's interesting. Appreciate those comments, Travis.
Absolutely. Always good to have a good legal sound mind that basically understands how the court works. So you tell me where you want me to go. I'll just.
I just thought it was good to have it handy as we discussed it. I don't have a specific point of reference. I just thought we were all talking about it, and Kel was bringing up some issues, and I thought, why don't we throw it up there and see what's interesting. So we went through. He's a repo agent. Okay, that checks out. It would give you a reason to be out in the middle of the night because that's common time. Okay, fair enough.
I did want to point out too, that his helper Mike, he says is dead.
Right.
Whoever this person is, didn't know his last name. Okay, well, I'm not going to say always, but a lot of times these repo guys, they take people with them. I talked about this a little bit the other night in the open mic. They have someone with them because people get freaking violent about taking their vehicle. Okay,
yeah.
They do. So
as
it's
you
always
know,
good to
people in this neighborhood carry a lot of guns. Look at so
yeah, they do here
not
too.
something that you want to be poking around at 2:00 in the night unless you have someone to back you up, right? So that does make sense.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, Calf, do you have anything to add to this new affidavit that's kind of bolstering or backing up Zawinski in a way, I guess it is?
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm confused, but like I started running over a little theory in my head, and I started thinking if Tom Skowinski sees a couple of guys pushing, say, the RAV up Avery Salvage Yard Road, then maybe they panicked and thought we've been seen, so they turned it around, jumped in it and drove it down Q, and then the other Tom has seen them driving it, and then they've brought it in through the back way.
That is a quite interesting theory. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah,
and
it
I
is.
can't stop thinking about it. I was thinking, what if they got made? They're like, oh, we've been seen, so the panic turned it around, jumped in it, and because it coincides with the timeline as well, around 2 a.m.
That's right. Yeah,
Anyway, it's just a thought, but
wish everybody had an Apple Watch on at the time or something. We could track their movements. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. More
Back to
CCTV
the Future, right?
would be good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invasion of privacy or crime fighting tool, you decide. But yeah, more CCTV is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's closed circuit is good because then we're not in some sort of Skynet situation, right? And so I approve of more closed circuit recordings. Yeah.
Not yet. We're not Skynet yet.
Not yet. Not like London, England. London is already there. All of the cameras are funneled into one central computer system. So that's
it probably was parked in the bushes off Cuss, like going by the dog reports of the high head checks and things like that, and also too, law enforcement told Redant that they believe that it was parked on his property probably at one point. So maybe it was in there, then taken from there down to Avery Road, pushed up. Tom Skowinski saw them, so they've turned around, taken it back out, and then driven it down Q and brought it in the back way.
Plenty of canopy cover, off of Cuss Road in that area. You'd never, unless you walked in there, you'd never see it from overhead. No way.
No, yeah, because there's quite a bit of, because that's probably the closest, thickest bush around if you're going to hide a vehicle. Yeah. But the closest to the salvage yard anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's right there.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're right across the field.
Just quickly, can I just it's easier just to voice it, and then Travis can maybe write it. Apology, I could write it, but I have a question for Travis, and it's still involved in this new witness. The question I have is, and it kind of goes for Tom more. It's not so much the witness now. It's almost more so for Tom Skowinski as well. She's going for the Brady of Tom Skowinski, but she has a separate issue, and that is the Denny. The Denny argument, which you have to have three prongs: the motive, the opportunity, and the direct connection. In fairness, I think we all will agree that she has at this point a strong two prongs. With these witnesses, she's got the direct connection in a such, and she's definitely got the opportunity, especially if these witnesses are alleging that that's who they saw and they're now involved. There's obviously a few other little bits in it, like the detail that the state kind of hit on with the implication of how that matches. But it's more so the motive, because not only does she kind of have to provide, and I know she's going after the DASI content computer stuff. And there's obviously the status saying, not only do we want to touch base on that, what's the motive for him to frame his uncle, such and such. But my question is, if that gets denied, if the Denny doesn't make it and they review it and they said, you do not hit the three prongs, or you might even just miss one prong, but I am not allowing the motive prong to reach it because I've reviewed all the exhibits, and I'm just throwing this out there. The stuff that you're implying has no direct connection to the crime, and I do not see it as a motive. Therefore, I'm denying it. How does that reflect then to Tom Skowinski? Because can he then still legally say that he saw Bobby Dassey if the other side of that pyramid is the fact that the Denny isn't a part of it, that it's now been denied, that it's still not a relevant kind of argument? So how does that reflect? It does, because to me it kind of went hand in hand, because if you do have an evidentiary hearing but the Denny's denied, how can Tom Skowinski sit up there and say, I saw Bobby, and then the state, could they turn around and go, Your Honor, you've denied the Denny, and he's implying another person was doing it. So what are we doing here? I'm just trying to get my head around how they go hand in hand.
Yeah, Travis replied, great question. So the Brady would be that if they had this info from Skowinski, they would have a Denny. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Kel. Is what's the connection here? And I get that. So if you remove that end of it, and I don't know. I'm not legally sound enough to really answer that one.
Huh.
It may take a little bit longer. It would be material if it denied a Denny suspect.
Interesting. Whew. Well, it's certainly it certainly give us something to talk about for the last few days, isn't it? Because there was a lot of anticipation that we were going to see a ruling way before we'd ever see anything else amended. But I guess
I said midsummer.
Yeah, midsummer, and we're in. Yesterday was the first day of summer, so.
Yep.
Here we are.
That might even be premature now.
Right.
This may push it on until, later summer or early fall.
Well, no rush now, because she's got to reevaluate everything again. That's the way I would look at it, right? Well, now I have to reevaluate everything under this new light, so it's going to take me longer.
I don't necessarily know about everything, but certainly it's going to have some aspect of she's going to have to evaluate it, certainly, and way. If she allows it, is the state going to respond, or is Zellner going to add more? Don't know.
Anybody
hope
else
so.
have? Go ahead. Anybody else have anything to add about this affidavit or where this stands now, or any questions or burning comments?
I don't know. I
So
mean, until we get more, I just don't know what else to add to it. Go ahead.
I don't know. I find it really weird that I just want to know what took him so long to come forward.
Yeah. That is
That's
the
probably
burning
about my
question.
own question on it.
Yeah.
it's very
But,
11th hour, isn't it? A very 11th hour feeling.
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah,
A lot of
especially
questions.
we're
I think
70.
that's where I'm at with
that,
you.
like, all the witnesses are like identifying Bobby after watching Ma'am. But, you know, Bobby was on the front page of the paper too, long before that. So,
Yeah,
Like during trial and
yeah, I don't know. I just find it odd, but
I
yeah.
don't know so much about any news reporting that he was necessarily in the news, but certainly I think there was a couple of newspaper clips that I've seen that he might have been in a couple of them.
Yeah, he was on the front
but
page.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know,
I think
he
you're
may
right.
not have seen that paper or whatever,
He
but
might not have, you know.
this new witness, yeah, and he was involved in the rally I saw, and I don't know, I just find it odd that, I don't know, I just wish people had come forward as well a lot sooner.
Well, again, that's why I made the comment a few minutes ago. Here we are 17 and a half years later, and now he wants to talk about this. And again, I'm not saying the guy's lying. I don't know.
No, I'm not either, but I just find it odd that.
Yeah. I'm with you, Kath. 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Jeff, you want me to take this down? We good?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess we can roll into some pictures where we left off.
Absolutely.
We left off in the booklet.
Absolutely. And I will. I'll actually throw you a copy of this on Discord so you have it handy.
Absolutely.
I will tell you before I pull these up, or while I'm pulling these up, that there are, from where we left off until the end of this, we won't finish it tonight. Sorry. There are 690 photographs left in this folder.
690.
Yep.
It's a big number.
Yep. All right.
If we chop it up into 9 or 18 bits, that's how my brain works.
All right, this is the next one after we left off.
Okay, cool. What are we looking at here? Some sort of a ruler?
Well, yeah, there's some kind of different lighting.
Is it a black light?
I guess.
It kind of seems like it could be a black light. I don't know. It's too, hard to speculate.
Let me look here right quick for a second. We've got a few of these, I know.
Maybe we can figure it out through context of the other pictures as well.
No, that's not what I want. Here we go. Case photos. Case photos. I'm just trying to guesstimate here before we get into some more of the interesting things.
Travis brings up a good point that I'll just throw up here. 80% of the tags for struck deer were in October and November in Wisconsin, and that's the mating season. So that
happens here too.
That is interesting. I didn't even know that. That's something I should have known because I hit a couple with my car. It's hitting a deer is like nothing else because they see you and they just freeze. And you're like, why didn't you just move 2 feet? All you had to do is move 2 feet.
Yep.
And nope. They're just so scared. They just freeze. It's pretty wild. Yep. That's where the term deer in headlights. It's not.
That's a real term.
It's a real term. Yeah, it means something. Not for nothing. All right, what do we got here? Kool-Aid stain or blood? You be the judge, guys.
Good question. It's so bad here with deer strikes that and the way that they run just in various areas across the road, they hit people in the side of their vehicle
Yeah, they
as
run
they're
into
crossing.
the side of the car. Yeah, absolutely. I've
Yeah,
seen that. Yeah,
absolutely.
the one that I hit, it ran into the side where I kind of swerved to get out of the way, and it just ran right in. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" Oh my god!
You don't. Yeah, I really
Wait,
don't know
what?
what this is.
Yeah,
Go
where
ahead.
is that? What picture's that one?
I don't know. I don't know what they're photographing. I really don't.
Maybe we'll
There's
have to
no
go through
explanation.
see what the next few are, and maybe we can determine. I don't know what it is. These little stains that, I mean, obviously you're not measuring them because you think they're Kool-Aid. You're measuring them because they're suspected blood or DNA,
Blood.
right? This is
Yeah, because
supposedly a murder scene, so this
you,
is
you can you can see the rundown.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like blood.
kind of does.
Well,
No.
I mean
Yeah.
that lighting kind of throws it off, but the I don't know how blood drops.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
if that's
hard to
indicative of a blood.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not.
I mean, it looks
where it gathers the blood at the end there, that's the way that there's splatter. So it, you know,
I mean,
it always goes down to a tail.
it's probably not soda,
ah,
right?
looks like
Oh,
the
is that the
headboard.
bed? It's the headboard. Yep, but it's
It
under
is.
black light. Yep.
That's right.
Oh, I got you. Oh God, it could be
Now
anything.
that we know what it is. So this is it, guys. This is it. These are the stains on the headboard. This is the blood that wasn't.
That wasn't blood.
All this huge crime that he had. Hey, remember he had 5 days to clean up? He missed this.
Yeah.
Come
Trailer was
on.
busy. It was a
He missed
disaster.
this.
It wasn't clean. Come on, Weird. If
If
you
he
call
cleaned
that house,
everything, if his rag would have cleaned anything, it would have got that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't claim that he cleaned up when there's stains all over the house.
I need to grab that video that yours made. And he had Bassbender repeat like 3 times. He scoured that residence. You've seen that
Scoured.
video, right, Jeff? You've seen that video, right, Jeff?
I don't recall.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. Fassbender was on with Dr. Phil or somebody. I think it was Dr. Phil, and they were talking about the trailer. And Fassbender made the statement, he scoured that residence.
Scoured.
That's what he said. But clearly none of this was blood on that headboard.
I seem to remember. Anyway, let's let that pass. I don't need to make a comment there. But look at these long. These are pretty long, actually.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I just wonder what the hell.
Yeah, I'm sure it's some kind of soda or, whatever.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess it could be a soda.
Something sugary that's stuck,
Yeah. Sugary stuff sticks around forever. That's right.
Yep. Unless you actively go get some.
Stays everywhere in your body too. So just let that be.
Yeah, let that be a lesson to you. That's why I'll switch mainly to water until I'm not drinking water.
That's right.
Speaking of which, I wouldn't mind having that salted caramel moonshine we talked about.
Well, I was saying, Jack, I think we might be at that stress point in this case where we thought we were hoping for a ruling and we got another motion.
Yeah.
And maybe we do have to just have a drink on a live just to relieve some of this stress. Hey.
Okay, here's swabs of necklace,
I'm
number
in.
1.
Calf's in.
I'm in.
Calf's in, Jack, for that
right.
drink.
Here we go. Yeah, we will alert you earlier in the day. So
Okay, thanks.
I got to make my ice cubes. I got those perfectly spherical ice cubes. Are you guys familiar with those?
Yes, I've got some.
I like to drink the whiskey out of those. I think it's just kind of the best for me anyway. I love it.
does anyone know if we have any test results for these swabs? I don't think we do. But they clearly swabbed it.
It's nothing I've ever heard of.
Read about? No.
Mm.
Back to the headboard. I'm sorry, that's not the headboard. It's the gun rack.
The gun rack.
Yep.
I just
It's like a
learned something
binder.
about. Oh yeah, there's another stain that Steven missed that isn't blood, but he totally missed it on his cleanup.
That's a bad
It never
photo
happened.
there. Another blurry photo. This
Where
is
is
the
that
little
room?
nightstand.
Where is this room?
It's got to be there at Queso somewhere, I'm sure. evidence
like
room, or not evidence room, but a conference room or something.
their conference squad room.
Yeah.
Nice picture.
Yeah.
Top
Half
shelf
blurry.
work. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Hey,
the pen.
these blurry pictures won't make themselves, okay?
Yeah, I know. You need. Oh, now I get the blue light.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this blue light, all these little stains, he's saying are potential, forensic evidence. And what do we get out of this whole house? Bupkis.
Bupkis. I will give them credit, though. They did use an alternate light source.
Seems like it's a blue light.
I'm sure it is probably a black light.
I mean, black
blue
light. I'm
whatever.
sorry, black light.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
They're so scientific, aren't they?
Another blurry.
Another blurry picture for the
Another blurry.
And they don't swab any of this? Oh, swab of unknown. I should shut my mouth and just wait. Swab of unknown stain number 1.
Yep.
Where is that? Has it ever been tested? Do you got any reports on that?
I don't remember seeing anything.
Swab 2
number,
of nightstand.
Yep.
So there's at least 2 swabs. Could be more.
Could be. We'll see.
Look at the dust. Go back and look at the dust on it. Yeah, here's a hair.
Here. But he scoured that trailer.
Yeah. Well, go to the top of that, or that back one picture back, please. Look at the dust on top of that. It's totally scoured, clean.
Yep.
Okay. You going with that story? Is that the story you're going with? Here's a hair that isn't anyone's. Here's another hair that isn't Teresa's. Here's another that isn't,
What about the hair that was in the RAV?
It's a good question.
Yep. I don't think it was ever tested either, Cap.
Yeah, it's like in a lot of the photos, and it's like standing out, like really standing out, and just never hear anything about it.
Nope. More dust on that. You can sit there on the edge. Or maybe that's some kind of sealer. I don't know. It's pretty
Look at this picture. Look at how clear the tarp is, and look at how fuzzy the actual thing that you're taking a picture of is.
Yeah, their macros really screwed up, man. I'm not a photographer.
Perfect.
I'm not a photographer, and even I know that.
Oh boy.
Here we are in the RAV.
I know, and that same again. Like, look how blurry the door is.
Yeah, can we zoom in on this one? This is an interesting picture to me. I'd like to see. So they dusted everything and anything. Maybe the controls there. Oh,
does that panel look like it's coming away, or is that just the photo angle? It looks like
that again, Cap.
Just
the
kind
panel
of
on the door there looks like it's half hanging off, or is that just the photo?
It does look like it's peeling off on the right side there, Jack, underneath the lock. See that?
Yeah, they probably pulled that loose. I would almost bet on it.
Oh, because they end up taking this whole thing apart anyway, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can clearly see this is after fingerprinting and everything, so no doubt they have taken it off and put it back on.
This is dated April 3rd, 2006. You can see it up there. Yep, and you can see the passenger seat. The passenger seat has been removed.
I always thought that it would be so poetic if it was a picture that actually helped us find the killer or something. Because
hang on, sorry, can you go back, Jack? See that picture? See down the drip down the door over on the bottom there? Can you zoom in? Yep, right there. Yep, see that?
There is a little bit to the right. There's a little bit to the left, Jack, and down.
To the left.
Left and down.
That way. Yeah, that's it.
You see it?
Yeah, what's that?
Another little stain.
Yeah.
Soda, beer.
I was going to say some wild cherry Pepsi.
Yeah.
Wild cherry Pepsi. If you go around the corner, I've had this many times. You go around the corner and that soda isn't stowed properly. It's going to tip over and go to that side.
You go around the corner and if I'm the passenger and the alcohol spills out my car.
I'm going to call you. I'm
you don't have alcohol in your car.
Cap, I'm gonna start calling you.
Only if I'm a passenger.
I'm gonna start calling her Eagle Eye, Jeff.
Eagle Eye. That is a good spot. That really was
is.
a tiny little. Yeah. What else can you see in here? I see a little something on the seat. There's a little you can see the
Grass.
foam coming through on the seat on the right. I see that.
Down
Is
there?
there more straw? No, up on
Yeah.
the seat. Up on the seat. There you go. Up. There you go. Up a little bit more with your curve. There you go. Looks like another spot. Just a little burr, little cut. Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we are looking for struggle though. So anything that would indicate a struggle would be interesting. Cuts in the fabric or, ruffled feathers, I guess.
Yep.
That thing is covered in. Just covered. I guess think about this though. Can you go back to that photo again?
Yeah.
You don't see one fingerprint there.
No.
So just let's think this through then. Does that mean that the killer potentially did wipe down the Rav?
Well, if he wasn't wearing gloves, it'd be pretty silly if he didn't.
Well, there's nobody else's fingerprint. No one else has ever touched that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No passenger has touched it. No, I guess since she's had it washed, I guess that's totally possible that it could have washed off after she had it, washed. But not one fingerprint. What about the other side? If we get a picture of the other side, let's take note of that as well. Because we'd have to see a fingerprint or two. Because when you close the door, right, you put your palm right on the door.
And there's a little group of leaves there sitting underneath the bonnet there.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So it looks like it may be parked under a tree from time to time, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because, you wouldn't find them in my car.
Well, it's the end of October, early November. That is just after the season of leaves falling. So,
and the wind blows here like mad.
I mean, I think my car probably has a couple in there.
So I mean, just here it's just, if you're around any group of trees with the wind blowing and it blows them down, they blow all over the damn place. You'll end up with them under your hood. It just it's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Finally, a nice, decently clear photograph of the battery terminal.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Hazmat suits.
You got to have them.
Yep. And again, we'll check out the metadata, see what it says. And
I
this
thought
is April 10th.
like there was a specified forensic team that comes in and is it anthropologists or whatever that go through bones. Why did they all get together like a group and start sifting through? Really, do they know what they're looking for?
Like a knitting circle or something, hey?
Yeah, it's like putting one of us in there that know nothing about what a bone is or what we're really looking for.
That's right.
It's not our area of expertise.
This is April 10th, so yeah, I agree with you, Kath. That's why the questions come up about.
I've never seen another case like this. Like when you watch cases or hear about cases, they have a specific team that go out and do this, and it's time consuming.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they really were in a big rush, weren't they?
Well, here we are, April 10th, and they're fixing to, looks like, do some more sifting. I can imagine what else. I mean, they've already been through these at least twice. I don't know about these specific ones, but.
Is that Eisenberg there?
I think it is.
That's Lisenberg herself.
I think so.
It was a teaching point for Eisenberg, Denny said. Almost like Sherry Colhane.
Yeah, she's teaching on-the-job training here. Everybody, we're teaching forensics. Your first case, Stephen Avery.
Yeah.
This gives coordinates.
And it's like, if it looks like a bone, it goes in the box.
Oh, I love a good co-ord.
Does that say Redont?
No, it says Robert.
Richard, it was
Robert.
crossed out Richard, and then it says Robert.
Robert Powell. Okay.
It's an honest mistake, Richard, Robert. I'm sure that they just made a mistake.
Debris pile.
Yeah. Seeing if we could find well, it does give the coordinates up there, the GPS. So. Non-human bone fragments 8434.
So it's non-human bone, real crucial to the case. Let's collect it and process that.
Let's take some photos.
Well, I
of
guess
that.
Eisenberg must be real familiar with the non-human bone, right? Real familiar with the chicken bone.
Yeah. I guess this is the grading that they used, or whatever you would call it.
They would have had to have missed some bones, right? Like there must be still some bones out there that they've missed.
Possibly.
Having a good time, are we? Nice smile. Who is that? The new chick?
I don't
know. Is that Herman there? No.
I don't recognize. I don't recognize.
We got
recognize any of them.
Davy's right there in the foreground. That's definitely Dave Remaker.
Mm-hmm.
The red hair.
That's Hawkins there.
Which one's Hawkins?
One on the right.
Okay.
Yep, that one.
Tom Fassbender was there.
Yep. And there's Wiegert.
Who's the bald guy?
Isn't that Ertl?
That's what I was going to guess, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think that's Ertl. Here's the infamous bleach bottle that had nothing on it.
There was a Fleet and Farm, and there's a Farm and Fleet. The two brothers had a quarrel and opened up competing branches. Yep, checking for stains on the bleach bottle.
They did check it, and it was not blood.
We know.
Ooh,
couldn't have been.
God.
Why do they keep showing that little ornament?
Well, I'm sorry. I just want to ask this question. What are the chances that they did find blood and it wasn't Teresa's, so they ignored it?
Well, there is that possibility. There is that possibility.
Because they love to not report stuff, as we've demonstrated today earlier in the premiere.
He's pointing at
it's
something
not real
here.
hair, bro. He's like pulling it apart like it's real hair or something.
I don't know, man.
They think that's a
back
buck drop.
We're back to the bed for a minute at least.
Yeah, I need a rest. It's about after going through this shit.
Yeah.
Now, after seeing these pictures, I just wonder if my house was processed, how many little stains they would find and how embarrassing I'd be. Be like, come on, how'd you find that thing? I didn't even see that. I just cleaned over there. How'd you find that?
Yeah, really.
There's more.
Yep.
And that's the thing is, like, if this heinous crime did take place, those should be real blood. That should be her blood. He shouldn't have been able to find, these little cracks. So in a way, when you're looking at the people processing it, you're going, yeah, that's what they'd be looking for. That's why they're taking, images of it. But when they collect it and nothing comes back, they go, oh, yeah, nothing to see here.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Remember KZ went back to the Avery house, to Stephen's trailer, and she wanted the sink taken out to check if his blood was in the sink. Whatever happened to that?
Good question. I don't know. I don't remember.
That looks like a pube. Just saying.
Yep. Call him how we see him here, folks. It could
Sorry,
be.
heat invaded.
Well, it could be chest hair.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
if there was a scouring went on that trailer, I don't know where it was because certainly wasn't on anything we've looked at so far.
Yeah, we need that scouring pad then
Mm-hmm.
that he used.
And clearly, this is a part of the bed, probably an end, and maybe an end piece that helps hold the frame together, and more hair.
That's
Another,
hair.
and look at all this damn dust and crud down here, man.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Oh God.
More down here.
There's
More
a lot
hair.
of dust behind my bed right now.
They're really looking for anything here. They're really digging deep, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the wall.
The whole wall. They removed the whole wall because they had
Yeah.
all this blood evidence. Look at all this blood evidence they got. Oops, guess it's Kool-Aid or Mountain Dew or, fighting in the bedroom and someone, give me that soda. What'd you do? You spilled it all over me. And then, it's just
No, I didn't.
ridiculous.
They'll be cracking wise. Watch me throw this. I don't know what the hell this is. Part of the bed frame, maybe? I don't know. I have no idea what that is. Okay, here's a spot.
I mean, that looks
Nothing.
legit to me. If I was processing, I'd be like, let's take a look at this, folks. Give me the swab.
Okay, we've got a gas can here. What's this?
Like a
What
boat.
we're doing
Looks
here?
like a boat for a boat, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got some spots here that were clearly not blood.
Oil or blood, fish gut.
I'm sure. Yeah. Grease, whatever.
I wish they would have documented how much gas was in these gas cans.
Here we go. Paint thinner.
Paint thinner is used to clean up a lot of chemical spills. It's really there's a lot of applications for paint thinner beyond paint thinner.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever used paint thinner to actually thin paint.
I have maybe a couple times in my life, and I worked for Sherwin-Williams for 6 years back in my early days.
So you used it for every other application. Is that what you're saying?
I used it just rarely ever. I didn't really mess that much with oil-based paint, so I just didn't have a need to use it.
Paint thinner works for like when you're cleaning off metals and stuff to make sure that they're, remove all the stuff. You can use paint thinner for a lot of different applications.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, now we're getting into some clear remains.
Bone fragments.
Yeah, bone frags.
Not. Can you zoom in a little bit? Not disintegrated. Not diagnostic. So they're bones, but you can't tell what it is from them. They're non-diagnostic. So there's no. You can't reach a conclusion with these bones.
Yeah.
Bone frags, not diagnostic.
Yep.
Some may be human, non-diagnostic.
Yep.
Same as previous.
Yep. Oh, look at the date.
That late in the game, huh? Now we decided to process the bones?
You got her.
No rush here.
I don't know if we can read this one. Oh, some. I can't read that. Some.
Suspected human bone.
There you go. This says human
bone. What is it? What did they cross out? Bone.
Let me turn this over. Hold on,
Yeah,
I'll
let's see
rotate
what
it.
they crossed out. I'm always curious as to what they don't. Okay. Bone to re-examine, and then they determined it was human bone. That's interesting.
Look at the date.
All the way back in June. Is that 15?
No, this is
of 06.
October 15th, 06. So we've jumped way ahead.
Is that a 10 or a 6 is the first one? You want to zoom in on that date a little bit? Is that a 6 or a 10? 10, 16?
No, maybe that is 6. I think you're right. I think that's just a long line. I don't know.
10.
Maybe I'm wrong. Could be 10.
Could be 10.
I don't know.
But everything was over by 10, right? By the end of 06, everything was, well, maybe not.
Well, I think as far as the bone diagnostics, yeah, by the end of 06, everything was pretty much a done deal.
Right.
This stuff right here, 7964, I know that this is from this is a FBI designation, Q15 through Q38. I don't know if can you see that seal behind FBI laboratory? That's the FBI seal back there.
Does look like a seal there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I just remember that from some of the pre-trial paperwork. Tag number 7924, dental. And that one's dated 11/13/05. Wow, these all just flip-flopped all over the damn place, man. Human bone. 7924. Definitely more human bone, vertebrae, sacrum.
Manubrium? I don't know. Manubrium?
Yeah, we need.
Manubrium. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Sure, I can Google it quick.
MANUBRIUM.
I'm thinking they got this. These are the bones that were in Stephen's pit.
No, I think that was a different tag. That was a different tag.
Oh, okay. Tag 7924.
It is the broader upper part of the sternum.
Say that again?
The broader upper part of the sternum.
Oh, okay.
It's between your rib cage, like the center of your chest, I believe, is the sternum.
It says rib on it.
Yeah, this one says
rib.
rib.
This is a different one.
7924.
Wow.
Yep.
Hand and wrist.
Hand and wrist.
Are you sure this isn't from Stephen's pit? Because it's like they're getting a bone from every part of the body here.
Well, no, I'm not entirely positive, but I'm pretty sure that tag was different. I'd have to find that tag for the box. We've got it somewhere.
Yeah.
Because the tag's on the bottom of the box, but I don't remember what it is.
I might have a little quick look.
More human bones, non-diagnostic. Don't know what they are.
I think as I'm looking at this, what brings my memory back is look at how small these bones have been disintegrated into. They're such tiny little fragments. That's a long bone. Look at that. That's what she calls long bone.
Yeah, most of these were pretty small.
Look at how small a Ziploc baggie is.
Yeah.
And these things are tiny. And this is the long bone section of the long bone. And it was just vaporized. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't do it in an open pit fire. We've been over this gazillion times, but you just can't do it in an open pit fire with brush. Even gasoline, you'd have to be continuously pouring it over and over and over. You need more fuel. You can't just. It's ridiculous. It's people have said that they look like they've been cremated. And what's the term? Calcified, calcification. I mean, that's beyond being burnt. That's the next phase. It's after all of the fleshy materials burned away, and now you're still burning them beyond. It's too much to believe. Like, that's a man miracle there, I think. The fact that everybody went along with the fact that you could somehow burn a body in an open pit fire like that with brush and gasoline in that tiny little time frame that he had a fire going and pull this off, because it's not possible. And that's a man miracle that people bought that fire story. Two shaft fridge
fragments.
refit.
Fragments? No.
Friggs refit.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's exactly what it says. So she's able to take, she's saying, 2 of these bones and refit them together.
Interesting.
Human bone.
And then so let me just get this straight. All these human bone bags that we've been seeing that have different tag numbers, were they just commingled into one box and then handed over potentially to the haul box? Just tossed in all willy-nilly like that?
I'm not sure how, Wigert and Gone and Fallon, I'm not sure how they gathered those and put them together. It's not really clear. It just basically said they got them, and if you look at
I'm just looking at a sheet. I don't know how credible it is. It's someone in the community I've got it from, but it says the human bones that were returned to the hallbucks and their item numbers, but none of the item numbers on the bags that you're showing match up with the item numbers that were given back to the Hallbuck family.
Weird.
Yeah, all the property tags are listed at the end of CASO investigative report on pages 1,112 and 13, I think. Hawkins listed everything. I'm guessing this is dental fragments here. 80. Maybe we'll have another photo here. Oh, maybe
Seems like I remember that. Yeah. It looks like dirt with ting. I don't know. Dirt with
tray.
It's not dirt, is it?
Ting. What the hell is that?
Dirt with
tiny bone fragments.
Hey, you win the prize.
Woohoo! Non-diagnostic.
You win.
And this is 8318. Yeah.
8318. You got that, Kev?
Yeah.
Let's see what this tag.
Suspect bone fragments.
Yeah. That was from Reimer. Can't see the tag number. Maybe it's written on the back here.
There it is.
Yep, 6197.
Is this more non-diagnostic? Not bone diagnostic? Wait, no, bone diagnostic.
Human bone diagnostic.
Bone diagnostic. So this is one that they could use to determine something, right? To use as their diagnostic. So there's enough material on there? I don't know. Maybe we need Dr. Silkman here, or someone who knows about processing.
Human bones. And here's some human bone non-diagnostic.
That says non-diagnostic.
Yeah,
let's go double check that one up there that says diagnostic. Are we reading that right?
Yep.
Human
bone diagnostic.
Diagnostic.
Yep. Doesn't say non-diagnostic.
Yeah, it's a different tag. So
yeah, that's right.
What is the determination between? I mean, if I just take it literally, it means that one of them's used to make a determination about something, and one can't be used to make a determination. That's all I can get from it.
I think that the top one can be identified as to what part that it is. The ones below cannot be determined where they come from in the body.
All right,
That's what
we're in agreement then.
think.
Yeah, we are in agreement.
Let me flip this one.
Same.
Yeah. Reimer suspected human fragments. We get a bunch here.
Coke deal. What do we got? A white package in here. All right. Possible human pelvic, cut bone, tag number 8675.
Yeah, these are cut.
The rest of them are just labeled and they don't give a description. It's
okay,
just
these Q ones, I'm telling you, these are all from the FBI.
Okay.
I don't remember Q93, but that don't mean shit.
I think it's 43. I think it's just a marker bleeding.
Yeah. Do you think Q means quarry?
No, that was the FBI designation. They used Q for whatever reason. I can't tell you why. I remember there was like Q1 or 2 all the way through Q49 that there was the reason I remember this specifically was because there was a pretty good argument between Fallon and Buting or Strang in a pretrial motion. 7936 human bone. It says item 5.
Can you zoom in and try to see what we're talking about since it is a plastic bag?
Well, what are we looking? I don't know. Pretty tiny, whatever the hell it is.
It's got a little fabric in there with it.
Yeah,
that's my point. It's so tiny.
Yeah.
It's just no way, man.
Yeah, I mean, since she didn't cut these bones, that, Another one from Reimer. No idea. It says teeth. And that one just gives the tag number 62, whatever the hell it is. 6200. $1228.05, whatever this is. Probably the other side of this, that previous box we just saw. This one's tags 8150. Okay, another bag here. Let me get this turned the right way. Dental structure, 1 human frag. It says wood. Eisenberg 111605. And then another one by somebody 111805. Signed out. 7925.
It's like that thing's been opened and retaped a couple times.
At least. Let's turn this one.
These are the dental structures.
Oh, this looks like the same one as before, just a different for whatever reason. Yeah, it is. 7925.
After it's been packed up, and then take another picture. Because when they want to show their work, they will show you the work, right? Because they want to get paid for all this. They want to, but when they don't want you to see it, they don't show you nothing.
Tag 8118, whatever the hell this is. This says
which dental, is why, folks. Let me remind you that I believe, and there are others out there who are pushing for this, that evidence technicians and the laboratories should be a separate department from law enforcement. Law enforcement should not be collecting evidence. They should not be holding evidence. They should not be in charge of it during court cases. A separate, independent laboratory should be responsible, completely separate. I don't care if they're a different department. You can't there's a wall up. You can't call them and say, hey, we want you to do this. Nope, it's not allowed. That's how we prevent this stuff. That's how we prevent this stuff. Yeah, you're never going to prevent it 100% because there's always going to be people out there that are going to manipulate the rules. I get that. But one of the easiest ways is to stop law enforcement from collecting evidence. Let the scientists do it. If there's nothing, if we haven't learned anything else from this case, we've learned when you let law enforcement collect evidence, they come in with giant equipment and ruin the crime scene. And they don't take it seriously, and they don't run proper evidence collection techniques and practices. So they've demonstrated they can't keep the responsibility of it. Too much funny business. It needs to be separated. There needs to be a giant brick wall between them and the evidence for exactly what I've said and for more reasons as well. I feel strongly
there. Well, unfortunately, there have been some and that have demonstrated that and have basically ruined it for the good guys. Seriously, and there are a lot of really good detectives and investigators out there that I can't disagree with you. Remove the potential for bias.
That's right. I mean, and this was a recommendation that was put to me from Catherine Judson from the Center Forensic Sciences. They are pushing for this. Remove law enforcement from evidence collection. It shouldn't be their burden anyway. You know, they should be focused on making collars, right? That's their job, not to do the science part. They should have scientists for that, not some guy that's got, oh, well, we just throw, some blood kits in with Colburn and Link, and then they just do it on the fly. No, we need scientists. We don't need fly by night.
Yeah, I agree.
Half-ass trained, 2-week trained, Yeah, there you go, FBI. Is there a Q in that one? It is. You can see on the Tupperware, kind of above the label, upside down, the first letter is Q, it looks like.
Oh, yep.
So there you go. What was that? I'm sorry, I was kind of talking. And
no, you're
what
fine.
Was this one? What was this one labeled? What was it called?
It's got kind of it's got all everybody's.
I'll leave the light on for you.
Well, you can see all the different case numbers here that get assigned. It's crazy. Each agency has their own everything, and that, to me, that creates. I understand why they do it, but again, at the same time, it creates this whole quagmire of problems. And this is from tag 7964, by the way. And I don't think we can see anything on this one. No, we can't.
I mean, wouldn't we all sleep better at night? Wouldn't we feel like the justice system was restored a little bit of integrity if we said law enforcement isn't in charge of collecting evidence anymore? It's the scientists. It's the forensic labs.
I would. That's their job. That's what they do.
I would sleep better at night. I would be more. I would feel there was more integrity in the convictions. I'd be like, well, no, it's the third party. It would make me sleep easier. All right, What do we got here?
This is again from the FBI, Q14 through Q14.8.
Kel, did you have something?
I was just gonna. It's a little bit off topic in a sense, but I was just gonna go where Travis is going in the chat, which I think would be interesting to bring up. It's, we're talking about new stuff, and he's just brought to my attention that I didn't follow that Madeleine McCann. There's been a bit of a development in that, and it's been 10-15 years, and like Travis says, the hope in it that there's like potentially a new lead, and it seems like there's a forensic kind of lead, and that just brings that reassurance why we're all here. Time is of the essence, and it appears that time is the only thing that kind of gets in the way. But in a sense, it's also time can't hide a truth. It always resurfaces. So, and I was just going to say that I think this is what this case needs. I appreciate witnesses. I really do. I think it's better than nothing. But I want to see a forensic movement. I want to see new testing of something, because although I agree that the witnesses can bring value, I think that the whole case was built on, there's that circumstantial element against Stephen, but then there's that forensic element against Stephen. And a witness, for me personally, and it's purely my opinion, it doesn't balance the same. It doesn't undo Stephen's forensic evidence in this case. You need something on that level or higher to bring into question. So I just wanted to thank Travis for bringing that forward.
Absolutely. I'm with you there, Kellen. I think it's kind of what my logic brain goes to. We gotta do some scientific testing. We gotta retest something. There's new tests out every day. There's new technologies out every day. That counts as new evidence if you can get it in, and so that's kind of where my brain is at. And I think we've even seen in man, in this podcast we've been doing, Kathleen Zellner says, what you do is you file a motion for scientific testing, then you get a hearing, and then you get the guy out, right? Basically, that's her plan. And she's kind of skipped that part in here with the scientific testing first. And that's where my brain goes. And I think all of us who scour this case and find interesting spots like Eagle Eye Calf over here, spotting little stains from a mile away, that's where I think a lot of us go and say, there's got to be some evidence. There's got to be something, a little piece of something that isn't supposed to be there that, brings a shadow of it, brings doubt upon this conviction. And that's what we're looking for. We need to tip the scales, right? It doesn't necessarily even need to be proof on proof. It needs to cast reasonable doubt. And so that's where my brain goes. Thank you, Kel. I think that's an interesting point.
Why is it saying not X-rayed?
Well, that's the reason I paused on it, because, and I noticed the date too, because I don't remember the date. It seems to me like it was much later than this that Eisenberg went with, I can't think of the guy's name. We've got the report where they took the fragments that have the beveling, and they got X-rayed, and it shows the, come on, help me out, when a gun gets fired, it leaves that.
Gunpowder residue.
Yeah, but it's called something. But yes, that's correct. And I'm just wondering why these weren't X-rayed and when. I really thought it was after this date, because this is really early on. I mean, we're basically 11 days away from October 31st, or not 11 days, but a month and basically 10 days. I said 11 days. Still, I really thought that it was after this when they X-rayed those pieces. I don't know. I'd have to look. Upper human radius, 11/10/05, as in Leisenberg. Looks like we have more ribs. Yep.
This really does dig into that point that you love to talk about, isn't it, Kath? Where just the idea that they found like a representative piece from just about every part of her body, and yet we have experts who have said this isn't the primary burn spot. It's quite interesting to me, because how do you have a representative of each part of the body, and yet we have another expert saying that the pit was not the primary burn location? So how did they get a perfect representation of each part of the body unless they cherry picked it? I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. That's the alternative, that they cherry picked it on purpose because they knew what to look for.
Yeah, or they've got the actual burn site, the original,
Yeah,
which isn't the pit. It's not Stephen's pit.
Which is likely it could be a burn barrel, right?
Well, that would make sense, because then all the bones are contained to just one container.
Right. That's right. But and then you could just dump them, right? Like we've talked about when we were in the quarry, looking at these pictures, you guys, the last couple of months, looking at how they dumped burn barrels in the quarry, just like that. So, that doesn't implicate their burn barrel. what I'm saying is, why use a pit when you have a burn barrel? And when it looks like there's evidence found in the burn barrel, why are they so stuck on the idea that it was in the pit? Why don't they just say he did it in the burn barrel? Right?
Well, yeah.
And that issue right there is a huge suspicion. It's always been for me. Why not just stick with he started, he did some in the pit and he did some in the burn barrel. Why is that such a stretch? Why are they so adverse to bringing in the burn? Why does it have to be done in the pit? Because he was tending it that day? Because they have an eyewitness saying that he was standing there? That's the only reason.
They're going to need a whole lot bigger fire than what was capable of being done in that pit.
Right. So then just keep pumping up everybody. Tell Redant, are you sure it wasn't bigger? And Redant says, how big do you want me to say it is? He says to law enforcement, how big do you want me to tell you it is? And then they go, oh, no, we just wanted you to tell us the truth. No, you don't. And then it explains why Scott's story goes from saw a fire, didn't see a fire, that doesn't mention it, then to see a fire, then to 12 feet over the garage, real big flames, right? Because everything law enforcement touches is tainted. I mean, that's kind of my theme and formula lately.
Yeah, they definitely wanted the fire to be an obvious thing, didn't they? They wanted the flames bigger. They wanted it to be noticeable by everyone, like this huge fire burning. But I just don't think that was the case.
No.
Anyway, Josh Redant, in the end, like his affidavit says that it was contained to a barrel from what he could see.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We looked at the photos from where his vantage point, and there, to me, there's just absolutely no way he could have seen Stephen's barrel from where he was at. Maybe I'm wrong.
But he drew like a picture, but the picture indicates the pit. We have that image, like that picture he drew, and it's not showing the burn barrel. It's showing the pit, and a lot of people, and I even thought that it might have been indicating the Dassey barrel, but it's on the other side. That doesn't even indicate. So I'm like really confused. There's a confliction between the imagery that he says that it's contained in a barrel versus where he places it, which was the pit in this diagram thing that he drew.
I'm just having a look.
I'll be right back.
Just going to have a look at that diagram again.
They love taking pictures of these of the same thing over and over, like 5 times. They absolutely love it. They're like, oh, digital photo, just burn them up, What do you make of the whole thing there, Calf? Eagle Eye Calf?
What am I looking at?
I said, what do you make of the whole thing? Where are you at? What are you thinking?
With what, the bones? Or just everything?
Everything.
I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't add up, does it?
Just tell us who killed her. You know who did it. Just tell us, Calf. We're sure you figured this out already. You're already three steps ahead of us. You don't have to be coy. You can just tell us.
No, I'm saving it.
You're saving it? Okay, I understand that. Okay, Jack, you back?
Yeah, I had to step away for a second. Sorry.
No worries. So yeah, more of the same here with the tags. More of the same.
Yeah, we should be coming out of these here. I
hope so. I'm starting to get bored. Yeah, I'm starting to get bored with these.
37.
I'm not gonna lie. Why would I lie?
37.
We're gonna find something interesting. Hey, TTM.
We'll be coming out of these here just in a second. Promise.
Good
Only
Lord.
a few more. Yep. There we go. This is one of the last ones.
This looks like all of it. This looks like all the bone evidence, all laid out on the table.
Yeah. And you see the Tupperware box down here.
We went through every one of those items individually, and now this is the picture of all of it.
Yeah.
So there's more than one tooth. Look at that. See those tubes? Those green tubes? That's what they were putting the dental stuff in, right?
Well,
can you read it? Can you get in there a little closer? What does that
Yeah,
say?
allegedly.
Possible cut? Possible cut? Paul. I don't know.
That one can't read at all.
Eisenberg.
And that one can't read at all.
Calumet. Yeah, anyway, I'm pretty sure that's the end of it, though, because we went through every one of those bone Ziploc baggies independently. Yeah, there's and there's more on the back shelf there. What's that? A different.
You talking about this one?
That could be the dental.
Oh, back over here.
Yeah, is it a different part of the case, or is that part of the bone? It must be different stuff, huh?
It's more bone stuff. I mean, they're all taped up, and yep.
Interesting.
I think this is all the bone evidence.
Wow.
And just for our curiosity, this was taken on November 20th, 2011, according to this.
I think I need to screenshot this bugger because this is all the bone evidence. Look at that. That's all of the bone.
I can send you the photo.
Okay, yeah, do that. I just took a screen. I don't need a high def for it. I just need. I already did. I took a screenshot. I just need just think about this, guys. This is all of the bone evidence.
Yep.
You know, down to that little. Okay, here's the carpet.
Yep.
There's a blood stain. It's not blood.
Yep.
And maybe it is. Maybe it's something to be tested. Why don't you just let's take a think on that. Whose rug is this?
I'm guessing it came out of the trailer, but I don't really know, I guess.
How would be? Well, I mean, how do you get blood on the backside of it? You know.
Exactly.
I don't know. We'd have to soak through or something. But if it, that's the thing is, if it was Teresa's blood, they would have used it against him. That's how we know it's not.
I have no idea what this is, but it's a really bad photo, whatever the hell it is.
Jackknife?
It may be the top of that. It may be at the top of that knife, but it's so damn blurry you can't see anything.
Yeah, it's the knife
again. Yeah, it is.
Oh, because you know what they're doing? They're trying to take a picture in between the knife where blood would get stuck that you couldn't wash it.
The opening, yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's nothing. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
And nothing happened because if there was DNA on there, they would have used it against him.
That's right.
And we wouldn't be here.
No.
I mean, let's be honest.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know who was taking these photos, but man. Really, some of them are really sharp, and others are just like terrible.
Yeah, I mean, this is before the iPhone, so even digital cameras back then they really weren't the best. It was amazing at the time because we never had them before. So like digital cameras got popular around that time. I remember I got my first one around that time, and it was so cool because you could just take unlimited photos, right? But the quality is, minimal.
Well, if you didn't, if you didn't pay attention to, on the autofocus, they were slower back then. If you had the macro thing,
That's right.
Depending on how you had it set, it wouldn't catch it in time. It would be out of focus. And of course, there's the mattress.
Here's the mattress where you can see visible stains, but not blood stains.
Not blood. No.
Not at least not Teresa Hallbach's blood.
Nope.
And I think that's the way you had to look at it. Be like, well, it doesn't look like blood. I mean, it doesn't look like blood at all, but looks like a sweat stain. Sorry to be honest about it, but that's what it looks like.
Yep.
Just mattress use, it's just mattress stain from over the years.
That's right.
What do you do? Dump paint thinner all over his mattress too?
It's just an old mattress. It's well worn,
Yeah.
So I just brought up this graph thing, and it's like bones that are burnt go in like a code from 0 to 6. So 0 being light shades, which are cream in color, and light shaded. They're fresh or lightly burnt bones, and then they go up. They go light shades. Then hang on a minute. So it goes light shades, and then it goes to pure white, and then represents the calcifying or calcification phase of burning, which at the point the bones are easily reduced to powder. So they start off like a cream color, then they go darker, and then quite black at about stage 3, and then stage 4, 5, and then finally stage 6 is full calcification, where they just turn to basically powder.
Yeah.
So looking at Teresa's, there's a lot of like shades of number 3, which are like not are quite burnt, but not have turned white to calcification, and then from there, so 3, 4, 5, and 6 are pretty much Teresa's. Actually, she's even got a couple of 1s, which is sort of black with a little bit of the cream color to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that also goes down to like different parts of your body burn at different temperatures too, if you've got fat around that area and things like that. But
Right.
yeah, I'm thinking that because some of hers have got to the calcification stage, a lot of them probably did turn to ash. That's quite an extensive heat though.
Yeah. By the way, these are Brendan's shoes, if my memory serves correctly. And it's hard to read. It's really blurry. I think we have a better shot of the underside. Yeah, here we go. It says Barb Yonda. I can't read that. Something is that closet?
Entry closet.
Yeah.
Red and white tennis shoes.
But if you look at these, I've studied these on Brendan's pretty significantly, and you know, if you talk about a kid that, you know, if they're out there in the garage cleaning up blood, and you start getting into some of these cracks, especially a broken crack in the bottom of a shoe.
They've cracked cases with less, man.
That's what I'm saying. You know, if you get, you know, you get cracks in the bottom of this material, and you know, blood could seep in. As far as I know, there's no blood. I guess they tested them, but you know, I would hope they did.
Yeah, you'd think that they would have.
I would think so if he was allegedly standing in this garage with Avery, you know, doing this.
Exactly. And he's saying what? That she was shot 10 or 11 times or something, you know, and you're standing there in sneakers. 1, you'd have blood splatter. And 2, the chances of stepping in it and moving around with that print is fairly high, I'd say.
I would think so. I don't know, this looked like a couple of, you know, old, well, not old, but a couple of sneakers that, you know, some kid wore, some teenager. They're dirty and well worn, and anyway.
Yeah. Sad looking at them.
It is. This is a different pair, actually. It's even got more cracks and crevices where blood could potentially get.
Right.
And all I see is just mud, dirt. Anyway.
And whose are those? Are they Brendan's too, or just from Barb's closet? Like,
I'm sure that says Barb. It looks like Yonda, but
yeah, the
closet.
same thing.
Yeah.
Red and white.
That's right. I meant to tell you, Jeff. You stop me wherever you want. I'm going through as.
Oh yeah. I'm hoping to get through a little section yet, but I feel like I want to get a few behind us that. But this is more interesting, I guess. We're getting somewhere.
Yep. Well, we got.
Let's see what we got. We got a few more, I guess.
We got some more shoes, and I'm going to tell you, we got a couple of the key thing, and then there's a bunch of the. You'll see.
Why don't we run through another section quick? I mean, the shoe stuff we kind of covered because we already made the comments about it, and there's nothing interesting to be.
No.
About your shoes.
They didn't find anything.
Didn't find anything. Yeah. Did they
Another
even
one.
look? Did they even look?
I
Why
don't know.
swab it if you don't really, you know?
I don't remember seeing anything about the swabbing of the shoes, which I would have thought you would have if you felt somebody was standing in blood in this garage. Right.
It's nothing.
We got a bunch of rivets coming up. I'm going to tell you right now, and I
Oh,
get sick
geez.
of looking
Here
at
we
them.
go.
Yeah, I'm telling
That's
you, if
the
we got a
rivets.
here's
Well, I mean, burnt rivets, you know, and you know, and they tried to make the leap to her jeans, which, I mean, if we're going off the claim that we believe that the crime scene was moved and the burn stuff was moved into the pit and into the burn barrels, then it's not a surprise to find her jean rivets because it's actually her remains. And so that I mean, that to me that makes sense. Then yeah, this is her stuff, right? This is her, but it doesn't mean that it was burned in that open pit. Yep, here's the lanyard.
yeah. There's a couple of these right here stuck in. I don't, who knows why, numbering wise. Let's check
Yeah,
the
they're in a
date here
weird time.
while we're stopped.
January
This
13th.
is July 12th of 2006 when this is taken.
Oh,
July
July
12th.
12th.
Yep.
That's pretty late in the game, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we're not quite. We're to be 7, 8, 9, basically 9 months later. And there's this photo. And then there's gonna be a bunch of these of the rivets. So just be forewarned.
Well, we have to cruise through the rivets. Unless there's something interesting that you guys think that is going to come from them, I have no problem kind of cruising through.
That's what
It's
I'm gonna do
interesting
then.
to see how they do it, but they're just rivets, right?
Basically.
And we don't
Yeah.
know, not even in focus. There's
Nope.
a delete
Nope.
button. There's a delete button. You can just delete. Not you, I'm saying them. They don't have to produce every single picture. They could have deleted a blurry image.
Yeah, I agree. Get rid of it.
If they knew this detail that day, they would have put that on the flyer. That's what I think. Like, oh, she was wearing Daisy Fuentes jeans. Put it on the flyer. Melted.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what those are made out of. I don't know what kind of alloy they're made out of. They really stood the test of a fire. I'd have to say. I'm really impressed.
It's brass, copper, and it's got some other
Well, there you go.
more hardier metals in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm out. I went too quickly.
No, it's okay. We're just looking at bins and bag. What is this from the concrete? Oh, concrete one, C1.
Yeah, the
Garage of Stephen Avery.
Yeah, 3106. 86.
You guys want to guess what they found?
They found a bunch of blood, didn't they? Oh, wait, they didn't.
Nothing. Nothing. Oh, C1, C2, C3. Look at this big chunk. Look what we collected, boss. Look what we got. Oh, good work, guys. Good work. What'd you find? Bupkus.
Yeah. Who ran that jackhammer? Take him down to
Good job with the jackhammering. Wow. Yeah, you should give him a good lunch. He worked really hard today. What'd you find? Oh, nothing.
Poor old Raleigh got screwed too. They tore up his concrete floor in that trailer, and they wouldn't pay for it.
Never reimbursed him?
No. I think he got $300 out of the whole deal. They did thousands of dollars worth of damage.
Wow. Cap says the bones are slightly different colors. This means burned at different temps. So the rivets could have easily not been burned to cremation stage. It's true. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of believe that they do belong to her because whether the crime scene was moved from the real crime scene and placed there. So I believe that there's a good chance that they may have been her rivets. I don't think it's a stretch because I do believe that those were her bones.
I don't know what those dark pictures are in there. They took the lights off and were trying to shoot something with luminol. I think there's a few more maybe. Because I can't see anything in these photos. I've left them in there just because I left them in there because they're part of the package.
Sure.
Let's see where we. Let's see another concrete slab. This looks like C5. Boy, oh boy. You want to bet what they found in C5? Oh, wait, it's nothing.
Ha! Good job, guys. You did C6. What did we get? Another bucket, another bag, another processed. How many man hours? All this riffraff. What'd you get?
Yep.
The pictures
Nothing
look
lost.
like they're doing something, though, right?
Say that again,
Are
Kev.
you investigating?
Hey, we're up to C7, Joe.
I didn't quite get that, Calf. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying it looks like they're doing a full investigation, but yet finding nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, it's like if they processed your house for a murder right now, it would look all official. They'd put things on the ground. There'd be little stakes. They'd have crime scene tape. They'd have all this stuff. They'd take all these pictures, all these
Mhm.
cars and trucks and everything, and then they wouldn't find anything. But all the pictures look official. You know, they look like, oh, look at this. Look at they really processed the shit out of this place. What'd you
Yeah.
find?
This is the only one out of these dark photos that I even saw anything at all. Right there
Yeah.
and right there.
Okay, then let's see the next picture just to see if, because that would be logic that they would take,
see a little.
you know, lights off and then take one lights on. Okay, so what is this? Oh, this is concrete. So that's what they were doing. They were probably trying to luminol the concrete.
Yep. Exactly.
And then you're seeing a little bit of a reflection of something in the dark.
Yeah, but you know, unfortunately,
there's no doubt. When you see luminol, there's no like, is that? No, you know it for sure. There's no like question of.
The problem with luminol though, it reacts with other metals and other things. So there's another little spot there, you know, but nothing. C9, looks like C10.
See what Travis wrote? The most extensive investigation in Wisconsin history comes to mind.
Yep, and everybody had their hand out in that pile of cash that was flowing around because even at this stage of the game, they were still making overtime out of it. There's a little bit. This is probably one of the more spectacular ones. I'll zoom in on that a little bit, but it wasn't blood.
Paint thinner.
Yeah, you know, it could have been motor oil, transmission fluid, you know, anything like that with a little bit of metal shaving in it could have reacted. Up to C12. Yep, here they are squirting the luminol right there.
I always wondered if they did that.
That showed up a little bit of something, but.
Did they spray the luminol in the back of the RAV?
No.
Why not?
That's a good question. I don't know why they didn't luminol the entire damn thing, personally.
They're afraid of what they would find.
Yeah, it would have been good to do Stephen's room too.
Absolutely. But you know, they didn't get, well, of course they didn't really trust the dog, so kind of makes you wonder why they didn't, because they didn't alert in the master bedroom.
No.
Absolutely not. Now, there's a little bit of something on this one. A few speckles. Up to C15.
But at the end of the day, they didn't find anything on the garage floor, though, did they, apart from the bullet?
Like no
blood of Stevens or Brendan's or Teresa's.
Yeah, they found a couple of spots of Stevens' blood where he had dripped it. But
that's understandable, though, isn't it? Like he had that cut finger, and plus it's a garage where you do mechanical work and whatever. Cutting yourself in a garage is pretty high up there.
Yeah, pretty common.
Of, you know, leaving blood behind in your garage.
Yep, absolutely. Too blurry. I can't even tell what the hell this is. It looks like we're still in the concrete. Yep.
I'm guessing they didn't fix Stephen's garage floor after they dug it up.
No, they didn't. Really got screwed. What I was saying a minute ago, I think he, out of all the damage they did to that trailer and garage, I think he got $300 out of it. Off concrete floor. What am I doing? Duh. Of course it is. Dug up all that concrete and didn't find anything.
Which basically means all these photos are just fluff at this point, right?
Oh, okay. So Travis said if it's visible, you don't need to luminol. You do a presumptive test for blood and then start swabbing. So that'd be why.
Same thing, what they say with the MVAC, right? If you can see the stain, you don't need an MVAC.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask you. I'm sure that at one stage that she would have had, or Teresa would have had her car vacuumed, all of the dirt and hairs and, particles and whatnot, all vacuumed up in a vacuum. Have they ever been tested? Like for hairs and maybe dirt samples or anything along them lines? I don't remember ever reading about the whole of the car being vacuumed and then that content.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did. I don't think they did.
I'd love Kathleen Zellner to get her hands on that if they did do it.
Absolutely. But I definitely would like to see the inside of that car impact, for sure.
And luminol.
Is that what it's called, Jeff? Is it called an MVAC? Is that the vacuum of it? Oh, okay. So did they do that or not?
I interviewed that guy who kind of invented the machine, and he's the guy it's his company, and he told me that it's basically like your rug doctor, like a carpet cleaner, right? Mm-hmm. But it uses a special solvent that's like designed to collect, right, and not and preserve the material, and then it sucks it up and it holds it into a container, and I believe it separates the liquid from the material, and then you can test that material and collects it. So it's kind of like a carpet cleaner in a way. It's pretty wild how ingenious of an idea it is, and how really a simple kind of application. Like it was just sitting there for anybody to kind of figure out, right? Like it's not rocket science for sure, but I think it's a really cool machine. They have retrieved blood from rocks that are like next to a river. Someone was bludgeoned to death with a rock, and they were able to pull a DNA profile from that blood from the pores of a rock. So this thing is an impressive machine.
I don't know why, but I can't get this to go forward. I'm going to have to close it and restart, or whatever you want to do, or we can stop here.
Yeah, maybe we just call it then. That's a good time. It's telling us that's enough. It's enough punishment for us of looking at photos that mean absolutely nothing.
Bupkis.
Yeah, bupkis. That's the word of the day, I think. So at this time, I will. Why don't we go around and give our little wrap-up comments and
just for the record, we have 193 photos left.
That's not bad. We can hit that next time, huh?
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I think we can get through that next time. That's cool. From that album, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And then how many more albums do you have?
I think we're drawing to a close.
Wow.
Are you serious?
I think so. I have to go back and double check, but yeah, I think we've shown a lot of photos, man.
We really did, and this has been going on. We started a few months ago. I just thought it was like I almost thought it was like Endless Ocean. You know what I mean? That game, Endless Ocean, where you're a dolphin and you just keep swimming forever. I was looking forward to more and more. So we only got one session of pictures left. We're gonna have to come up with a new exploratory segment maybe. But anyway, it was a hell of a lot of fun. I always like getting through it, even if it's in, not important stuff. Talking about the non-important stuff is fun nonetheless. So these concrete bricks and whatnot. So why don't I let Calf lead the wrap-up comments? Calf?
I don't know why you started with me. I'm like drawing a blank, but I don't know. I just wanted to thank everyone for coming and listening, and I just wanted to thank you for having me on. I enjoy the pictures, and I enjoy just going over the case in general, because you just forget so much. Like, so fast. And so it's always good to have a reminder of different things what people have said and pictures and whatnot. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, thank you. Enjoy having you here.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, well, we love it too. It's so much fun, and we love everybody out in the chat. You guys keep it. You guys keep it real, and appreciate that. And sorry if I'm not getting to your comments as much as usual
I was
today.
trying to keep up. There come up some really good questions.
You guys really, you guys always bring it. Travis, thank you. TJ, Anthony, everybody who's still in chat. We appreciate you guys coming. Mystic Jinx, who's been here from the beginning. Rumor has it. All you guys, really appreciate you guys coming and chatting with us.
Yeah, Jinx is good. She's been out there. She answers questions really fast. She knows the case.
Yeah, appreciate Mystic Jinx for that. Jack?
Oh yeah, man, it's all good stuff. I mean, we've got a little bit of new information last week. Where that goes, hey, we hashed it out. We got our concerns. It is what it is, and all we can do is just wait and see what the circuit court does and where that will lead to. I think we still have several more months before we get any kind of movement. I'm like, the rest of you guys. I want something forensic. I want something that we can really sink our teeth in. But I still think we have certainly a couple more months minimum, if not longer, before we get a reply from the circuit court about Zellner's motion. And yeah, always good to go through pictures. It's always fun, especially with a group of people.
Almost over. Agreed.
I know. I mean, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that we've pretty much. I think we've pretty much looked at everything that I've.
Now we got to go through them in reverse order. Is that what you're saying? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, I'll show pictures anytime you want, but there are other things that we can
absolutely
take a study at that are out there. So anyway, thanks to everybody in the live chat. Thank you guys, and look forward to next time.
Absolutely, Jack. And Kelly, wrap up for today.
Yeah, sure. Great live, everyone. You guys, shout out to all the people in the chat. I agree. Thanks for everyone for coming and supporting, and the questions and the answers. Trav, amazing as always. It's great to have a legal perspective in the chat to kind of balance this all out. I agree with Jay Jackson, the end of it. Like, now we just wait. Whether it goes for KZ or against, we know that Kathleen's not going to give up in terms of the next steps. So we just have to be patient, I guess, and just, what's the way they say it, just follow the process, and let's just hope that it kind of works out in the favor of Stephen and eventually Brendan. That's all I got.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kel. Thanks for those comments, and thank everybody in chat, and thank you, Kath and Jack, for joining our live. They're always so much fun. I really enjoy everything that you guys bring to the table. Always a fun live to kind of have every 2 weeks that we do this. So we'll see you guys again in a couple weeks, and appreciate the questions coming from the chat. You guys keep us going a lot. So appreciate everybody out there who's been following along. And so for Kath and Jack and Kel, this is Jeff Jones saying this has been Discussing a Murder.